Cheers, everybody, and welcome to your favorite late night Friday night hashcast. It is Variables with your hosts Fergoli, Pedro, Superior Buds, and our special guest back again tonight is Brian, aka Pelle Polare. You can find him on Instagram, YouTube, maybe soon, if not already, and across all your favorite hash producers, I'm sure. How you doing tonight, guys?
Cheers, everybody. Good to see you.
I am medicated and about to get more. And hello, cheers. I've been sick for like 5 days this week. Daughter started it, and then I got it, and it was a rough freaking week, man. That was a long ass sickness. But what's up, my Twitch followers and my YouTube followers over here?
Yeah, of course, streaming every Friday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Time, multi-streaming, multicasting to YouTube, Twitch, X, and beyond. You can find us on all of our channels and, of course, on Spotify and wherever you get your podcasts after the show, as long as I remember to upload it. I want to take a quick moment to first recognize that Brian looks comfortable as all can be, and second of all, to apologize first to Stace of Base for last week having to cancel the show last minute on her. I really do apologize. I really hope we can have her back on. You don't have to.
I'll take complete blame for that. The daughter got sick literally, 2 or 3 hours before the show. And I mean, it was a random bleh everywhere. So I apologize.
Physically ill.
Oh yeah, so I apologize.
Yeah, we've been dealing with it over here too, and it's whatever it is going around for sure. But I've got a 14-year-old that sounds like she's been smoking since she's come out of the womb, and my 1-year-old is trying to catch up with her. So it's a little bit of a wild ride around here too. I'm a little scratchy in the throat myself, but all is well. That ends well, and we're just happy to be here. But I apologize to Stace of Base. Second of all, I apologize to all of you guys because we kind of just left you hanging there last week, and we don't normally do that. It was just such a last-minute decision that's just how it goes sometimes. So I apologize, but I'm happy to have you all back this week and, of course, in the weeks to come. Brian, what's new with you, man?
I'm sick, too.
Just going around.
Oh, damn, dude. Thanks for making it sick. That's freaking cool.
Yeah, seriously.
I got all cozied up over here. I got my kids to bed, and then the alarm went off. So I got my blankie in the chair here. Talk to you guys.
And just to real quick throw in and add to the live stream times, we do try to go live every single week. So make sure you try to get here every single week. But us three guys are really busy and life happens. So, but anyways, continue.
No, man, you got guests that are doing things. You guys are all doing. It's hard to make the stars align.
All 4 of us have kids all at the same age range, so that'll do it.
That does it for sure.
Yeah, and they always get sick before you know what I mean? And I'm sure it has something to do with the strength of immune systems and exposures to all this, whatever over the years we've had. But they will catch that shit quick, and you're just looking at them, whether it's 1 day, 2 days, 2 weeks. Like, it could go for a while before what's coming for you, though. It's gonna get your ass.
Yeah,
Yep.
It's been a tricky year. Like, you get sick, you get better, you get sick, you get better. It's been just a cycle of sickness this year. It's rough.
Well, I'll start this out. Go ahead.
I'm thankful we're snowed in over here. We've just stayed isolated. We haven't gotten sick. We're like 130 inches of snow. Can't get to me.
Yeah, it's been like a 5-day sickness. It's a rough one out here.
That's brutal.
You know what it really is, man? The kids go to school and everything's dirty, and they put their fingers in their freaking mouth, and then boom, that's what it is right there.
Yep.
It's, I will say it's definitely the thumb suckers that get sick first. You know what I mean? Because they're not only are they touching everything, but they're also putting it right back in their mouth, and that's.
And you can always do your best to like disinfect everything, but my God, that's a chore,
Yeah,
it's practically a full-time job right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Running around with Lysol wipes, just chasing everything.
Right.
It doesn't matter what you clean.
Oh,
the dog still goes right up to him, licks him in the face. And they don't care.
And the kids touch everything too. It's not just like one thing. Worse stuff, touching the bottom of your shoe and shit. Come on.
So dude,
why are you licking your shoe?
Needs a warning. Needs a warning
Let the
label.
candy go. It's in the fucking sewer.
Oh,
So-
that's the worst one. Is like picking up an M&M. You don't know how long it's been there, and you're like, "Can I have this?" No.
No,
Throw it
dude,
away.
no.
Throw it away. You've already
I'll
got
tell
the
you what.
red.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Pedro. Compare this to GrowTube 10 years ago, and I'm sure people would start laughing real quick.
Dude, I miss the Grow Tube, man. I miss the round table big time. I wish we could try to figure something out, but I don't know if I'd have enough time to fucking commit to that either.
Oh, that would have to be like a quarterly meeting of the minds or something like that. There's no way we would be able to get everybody together like weekly for something like that. But hey, even to drop something like, once every few months or every couple months or something, I think that'd be pretty sick.
It's always a consideration that we could do pre-recordings, but it's just so much better live. I just love
for sure
seeing the chat over here and answering their questions live and addressing them, and it's that it's just, I don't know, it's just better.
It's natural. You get the proper energy. It's hard it's hard to fake the funk.
All right, well, I'm going to jump in officially this time. Dude, I'm actually excited to have you on the show because you've been a busy SOB.
I've been grinding, baby.
You have had some, I believe since the last time, you've had some new stuff coming out. You've been traveling all over doing your your classes,
educational classes, seminars,
classes, which look awesome.
Thanks,
and
bro.
hopefully we're gonna do one in December, or not December, in Denver sometime here soon.
100%.
Sweet.
Yeah,
I want to be there.
We got to find a venue and we make it happen.
Reach out. Maybe I can help make that happen.
See, this is how the classes happen, man. I don't pick a location. I don't force a location. It's a natural conversation like I'm having with you right now. Somebody says, "Hey, come to Miami." And I'm like, "I need a venue." And then that person's like, "I got a venue." And then, it's just boom.
Do you do a physical demonstration?
Yeah, so I kind of break it up like physics class.
No, I mean like wash and freeze dry and press and everything.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just like physics class. Like I'll do lecture the first day and we go through all the literature. And then on the second day of class, we take out all the equipment. We do a full-on wash. I usually use some material that's old and not going to be kept because it's just for demonstration.
Uh-huh.
And then, we kind of move that off to the side, and I take out some good hash that's already been dried.
I would say just a 2-day class, so obviously you can't wash, dry, and do everything at the same day.
Yeah, so I'll have material prepared in advance, and I tell people, the whole scoop. Oh, you're playing the video from class. That was a fun one in Miami.
Hey, and I gotta butt in here. Shout out to Hyrule Video. Give him a follow. That was some great fucking content right there, man. From a producer, whatever, even just a consumer's standpoint, this is very well produced.
He did a really good job. I was super proud of that guy. He just volunteered his time and exchanged for a seat for class. I said, "You kidding me? Come on, man."
Yeah, dude.
And I've even been considering myself going to these classes and speaking to, the entire viewer list here. I think I would recommend it because everybody has different ways of doing things. And I think you can pick something up, maybe just, and if they're cool little get-togethers. And so even if I'm not on your panel of teaching, I might just show up anyway. So
no, I'd love to have you on the teaching panel. And yeah, I think you're right, man. It's, I would always take an opportunity to learn. There's always a little, golden nugget or a little extra sharpness on your sword that you can gain from a little education. I work with a lot of different hash makers, so I'm constantly absorbing, little
That's
bits.
it, dude. That's what sharpens your sword is being around other hash makers, right?
Yeah.
And I was having this conversation earlier. It's like competition is what sharpens that sword. Wow. Too many dabs. Yeah. Sharpening the sword. Sharpen the sword. Okay. Yeah, competition is one of those things. And, just having that different perspective, we've talked about it for so long on this show and shows in the past about how, there's not really a wrong. I mean, there might be some wrong ways to grow, but there's not really a wrong way to grow. Like everyone has their own philosophy, and sometimes it just works for them. Might not work for you, might not work at your scale, might not work at someone else's scale, but it might work for them, and that's okay, right?
Yep.
You know, I'll admit it right now.
All comes down to that kind of art aspect. I mean, there's a lot of science that goes into it. Don't get me wrong, but in the end of the day, the final product is an art.
100%.
I've even scheduled and taken a personal consultation from Ragams.
Good
so
call.
just there's so much you can just pick up from different people. Sometimes even just having conversations.
100%, man. It's just being open door.
Why do you think I've signed up for live streams for so long? This is the only chance I get to learn about this shit. It's from fucking masters like you guys. You know what I mean?
Student. We're all students, man. I'm a student.
Fucking round table.
Students of the round table. But yeah, you're right. It is an art from the grow all the way through, you know, the washing and everything. And that's kind of what I try to give people at class, a foundation to use the knowledge that you know, get at class to go and put your own, you know, thing together at home. It doesn't have to be one way. You could do it multiple different ways.
For the people watching live and that are going to watch it recently or after the show, not too long, do you have classes planned, ready to go? The thoughts on where you're going next?
I've been, you know, I try to do one every 2 months. You just brought up Denver, so maybe Denver will be next, but I'm trying to go somewhere warm, so we'll see. I went to Miami and it was cold.
Just the wrong time, right?
There's a polar vortex, dude.
Go to the beach and get fucking snow.
Yeah, they had snow in Florida. Like it's the craziest thing I'd ever seen.
Slammed, yeah.
Oh,
It was like
so
38
pissed.
degrees in Tampa one night.
Yeah, dude. We were out there with coats and shit at the sesh. It was ridiculous.
There's video of people playing hockey like in the French Quarter, you know, and it's just that's just
So his next
and last
is gonna
week
be in
here,
Aruba.
Yeah,
and last
dude.
week here in Colorado, it was freaking 70 degrees.
Jeez.
Flipping the whole country's upside down. So we'll see. We'll see. It's either going to be Cali or something out west. But yeah, the classes are dope, man. It's definitely. And if you're not coming for class, like we do, like you mentioned, a big sesh both nights. Friday we do like an icebreaker sesh, just people involved with the class, and then Saturday it's open to public. We have local vendors coming in with flavors, whatever, you know, you go shopping, just have a good time. We have food, art, music.
Well, I'll commit right now, dude. I'm a 100% in, and we can maybe even get Eden to do something.
That would be help.
Hey, get him a booth. I had a booth at one of his classes here in Flint, Michigan.
Yeah, that was a great. That was a
You have
great
dad booths?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
on.
we had the straight up the
I can make that
standard
happen.
for early booth going.
I
And
can
he was
make that
very
happen.
generous, opened the doors to me, you know, to come learn and everything. It was, you know, unfortunately I was running it by myself, so it was a little hard to do. But
Yeah.
I mean, you're back in town next time, I'll be sitting in that chair learning.
I was bummed I missed that one. That was like the snowstorm week, wasn't it? Or
There was a lot going on. It was weird.
yeah.
That thing's sick.
Nice. Look at it. Wow. It looks heavy at the bottom, but it looks so skinny throughout. Makes me nervous.
Yeah. Fragile.
Steve Sizelove, he put his bubble trap into some clear work.
Damn, I'm jealous right now of that dab.
Yeah, it
Look at
looks
that.
nice.
That's the worst part about being sick for me is that I can't smoke when I'm sick.
Yeah, extra chesty, huh?
Maybe one a day and a small one.
Sneaky.
No, that wasn't a small one, and I know that wasn't your first one.
You are
I actually
That
was
was
just
making
talking
up
to
for
Mrs.
lost
Fergoli
time.
about that. I was just talking to Mrs. Fergoli about that. How I was like, damn, we should have made some edibles today. Like we have like a ton of oil. I guess it still needs to be decarbed and everything, but like we have a ton of food grade oil ready to go for something like that. And we're just sitting there like, oh, I don't want to eat like much right now, but like, yeah, maybe if we just slam like 100 milligrams and like a chocolate the size of my thumbnail, I could just throw that back. That'd be great right now.
I usually have the rosin sitting around that's just been too old, dry, starting to get dark, and I'll decarb that and 50-50 with coconut oil. And I took one of those the other day, and I woke up the next day still high. And I think I was high until freaking, I don't know, late afternoon. It was, holy cow.
Toast yourself. Gotta watch it. Sometimes
Tolerance.
those recipes gets heavy. It's worth sometimes doing like a little test on material just to know, like, you know, for me, if I'm going to give it away to someone, I do a little quick test to make sure I'm not going to put someone over the edge.
Well, let's start there, because I believe, and maybe I'm incorrect, you can just kick me in the balls, but you have a controlled decarb equipment, right?
Yep, the reactor.
So give everybody the explanation, because I don't even know the details.
Yeah, I mean, in summary, like you said, it's a decarb machine, basically. It brings safety and accuracy to the process instead of just putting a jar in the oven, you know, and having
because it's kind of a guessing game when you're putting it in the oven. You know, everybody kind of decarbs to buy the bubbles. You know, but
yeah, you're really tied to the visuals, and you're tied to, you know, the oven, and you have to watch those visual cues, and when things happen, you gotta do your thing. The biggest thing about the reactor that I realized using it is that it maintains the pressure in the jar, and it releases it in a controlled manner. But when you maintain that pressure, you actually increase the boiling points on your terpenes. So I can do my decarb at a slightly higher temperature, get it done faster, and actually end up preserving the material better than just in a regular jar in the oven.
And can you monitor it during the process?
Yeah, that picture you had up before had a little graph, and that's basically what you would log in. You could log in from your phone.
And so it's the full pressure sensor inside the vessel. That's awesome. Yeah, and then it graphs out the pressure release and build. And you can see on the left side, you see all the data points, and then that graphs out those data points. And then basically when that line flattens out, that's the bubbles going away, you know, and then you just, as a hash maker, you go and you tie the visuals back to the data. And now, you know, if you want to make jams and diamonds, you find where 30% is in that graph instead of looking for that fresh poured beer look that everyone's trying to hammer, you know.
So
it gives you the repeatability,
accuracy, the precision.
So
you're barking up Superior's tree right now.
Oh yeah. Then talking data, consistency. I'm like, oh,
you showed a graph?
Yeah, the graphs are.
And
you got Superior little.
Superior's got a boner.
Yeah.
A little wet down here. Hold on.
So for Jamie, I mean for Growly, bring up that very first page again on the reactor.
It's the safety feature too, you know, that's the biggest thing. Like I was doing this in my house with my kids, and I always felt like unsafe. And now with this, it's like, okay, this is what you need to use. This feels much safer. I'm not going to light my house on fire with oil in an oven. You know?
So I want to ask the question that probably a lot of people are going to ask, and it's perhaps a little abrasive, but it's going to be direct. Yeah. Do I see $5,500 up there?
Yeah, it's expensive.
Is this more for personal or more for commercial?
I got both guys buying them. It's honestly, if you care enough about your material to want to get the best out of it and not just cook it in an oven, as you know, it took you 3 months to get here and you want to rape it in an oven, by all means, go ahead. But for those of us that care, that's the machine. And in a commercial setting, the owners don't want to see oil sitting in an oven. You know, that's
I would agree. I would agree.
Well, think of it this way too, Pedro.
I have a junior one too for the home level guys.
So and
okay,
it's $1,200. It's a lot.
Oh, now see, that's more attractive.
Yeah, I was even going to say though,
bring that up.
With the 5,500, you're talking like a freeze dryer price, right? So I mean, it's just another piece of equipment. I mean, but it's obviously not for everyone. That's
but at $1,200, that's extremely
reasonable.
Obtainable. Yeah.
Ask Free Girly, bro. Free Girly, how much was your BHO setup? You know, a proper one.
Retail or through sponsorship?
I mean, retail.
Yeah, no shit.
Fuck. Yeah, a few $1,000. I'm not really sure. I mean, the whole thing all said and done with, equipment, backup gaskets, and all that. Yeah, you're probably pushing $8,000. I mean,
$8,000,
yeah, I would say for my solventless setup, minus the room and all of that setup, equipment wise, yeah, it's probably going to run in. Well, it again, we'll say retail. I think 12 grand.
Yeah, sounds about right.
I figured 15 for mine for my rebuild.
Yeah, if I would say
a lot
the
of extra
build and
bullshit, you know.
I would say the build and tables and everything else included.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're about 15 grand.
we're not just talking stainless steel. Well, shit, the tables are stainless steel.
The tables,
right? That's it's all the stainless steel
The
equipment.
backsplash is stainless steel.
Yeah.
So that being said, right? Like you can probably do it for a few $100 too, but
so with this, the Junior, which you need to put on your website because that's attractive as fuck.
It's there. It just doesn't have a photo. I know. I'm so bad.
Well, bring it up again, anyways, for really. Does it have the same controls as the big boy?
It has the same controls. It's just not going to allow you to graph. It's not connected to a computer or anything. It's all manual. So you have to manually note the pressure losses.
How long is one decarb?
Well, I do mine at 165, and it usually takes about 2 days.
Okay. So how often would someone have to check the machine?
When you set it up, you make sure it's running right, and that's the beauty of it. You don't really have to check it again until the end of the process.
There's no like setting for the end of the process and it shuts off?
Okay, so that's the next level reactor. There's 3 levels. There's a Junior, there's the solventless reactor, and then there's one that's rated for solvents, and it's much more expensive and robust, and it has all the, the software that allows you to automatically turn off, do things more automated and bigger, and that's like 20 grand.
I mean, I know that you, just after talking and whatnot, you're kind of a geek and you're very specific, and you've poured a lot of fucking blood, sweat, and tears into this. So when somebody asks, Jesus Christ, why so expensive? I know right now that you've gone through a lot to select the right equipment to make sure. I've seen your testing, and you back everything, and you've got personal contact with people, or at this point in time. So you're talking not just Chinese thrown together thing. This is an extremely thought out, accurate machine. And for $1,200 for somebody at home, how much can you process at one run?
In the small one, it's 150 grams, and the big one is 300.
I was trying to find a container.
Oh, yeah. So it's like a 8-ounce mason jar and a 16-ounce mason jar, respectively.
I mean, that's a lot of material.
Yeah, it's a good amount.
For sure.
It's like 150 grams. What's that? Like, 8-10 ounces or something.
Yeah. So if somebody's that into edibles, they just can't smoke anymore for whatever reason.
Really carts.
That's
where it really shines, because the flavors and this, just
it's about lossless decarboxylation is what he's doing.
Yeah. There's not a ton of people at home doing vapes.
Yeah, a lot of people doing vapes because everyone loves that travel aspect, and they're so easy to do at home now.
I've never done it personally.
Oh, dude, I'll walk you through it, and that's part of what I love to do.
Get yourself a big needle gun. It looks like a tattoo gun. You can
we got
some nail if you want.
A little small syringe, and do like 2 at a time. Just.
Oh, I'm like 25 at a time over here. Big gun.
Yeah. We just are doing some new travel pieces at Eden, and that's actually, I got one, I don't have it in the car. It's upstairs, and I'm gonna go grab it because it's on the market right now. We're just upgrading it, and it's just got my nipples hard. I'm gonna go grab it.
Ooh, I've heard about these new ones where you put rosin in.
I mean, that is all the fad, right?
It's like decarb, you know, just kind of tastes a little bit different. And
I feel you on that, and I would love to hear your like deep perspective on it, because my experience with rosin pens is not that great, if I'm honest with you, and it's kept me to making my own, like you said, you know, just a couple half grams at a time, you know.
Yeah,
and it's super convenient. They're super, nonchalant. It's handy, it rips great, it works, the flavor's still there, everything about it is what I like, you know what I mean? So on the go anyway. It's not, if I'm setting up the rig or something at home, that's a completely different situation. But for having the convenience of it, really was what it comes down to. It's fantastic.
Yeah, dude, so great for just chucking a couple in your backpack, going on a bike trip, or like whatever. Yeah, they're easy. And that's the thing, like if you get a couple that weren't done right, it turns you off, and now you think that's how they taste. Like somebody put it in an oven, and what happens is you get this burnt popcorn flavor.
Exactly.
You can't get rid of that. So
what is that coming from? Is that just like terps turned sour kind of thing?
Just toasted
like
it,
burnt off. Yeah.
It's like you took some jelly and burned it. I always relate stuff to jelly.
Wait, preserves, jam, jelly? What are we talking here?
Yeah, preserves.
Right. Okay. Chunks or no chunks? Let's get technical.
The good stuff. So yeah, the reactor was fun, man. And like, I couldn't do this stuff on my own. Like building that thing. I have a solid ass partner that kind of loves my nerdiness, and he's extra. He's a engineer, so he's like, oh, that's a great idea. Let's see if we can build that.
So getting to the reactor, really, when you're talking the sensor, are you talking like a scientific level sensor at that pressure? So that's a good answer to where the cost comes from right there. You're running lab level equipment at that point. You're not just a toss together, lack of a better, it's not a food dehydrator fucking with a green tax. It's a whole different thing.
Yeah, no, it's fully on scientific equipment, all the heat controllers, and it's all precision. Good
Actually
stuff.
Engineered equipment for cannabis. It's awesome. It's great to see the innovation. It's new shit, figuring out different ways. And like I said, consistency and logging the data. That's how you win business.
And having solid partners, because I could not do it without my partner, my engineering partner. He does amazing work. Yeah, and it's funny because like he's a solid dude. I trust him more than most at this point. He was telling me that one of the other equipment brands approached him, and he told them to go and take a shit in their hat. Yep. So I said, thank you, buddy.
They try to poach in just about every business, man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm the small guy. I get it. But at least I got some loyal partners, so can't take it away from me.
It's hard to find in this industry, too. You know what I mean? It's such like an emerging market, and people just want to hop, branch swing to whatever sounds the next best thing. And that loyalty thing is hard to come by.
Oh, there's so much backstabbing and just stealing each other's IP.
Right. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to kind of, for the most part, see it from a distance and kind of learn from other people's mistakes, if you will. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like, you could just do what I've been doing for 10 years and putting yourself out here on YouTube and just giving all your tech away and be like, fuck it. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I do. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. But this is what I'm doing,
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of what I do too. It's keep that open gate.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot better than gatekeeping. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Because it's, especially in this market, it really feels like no one is the first to do anything. Like, maybe what's his name that did the rosin pressing with the hair straightener, you know what I mean? Like, there's a couple things I can think of along the way that seem to be like, oh, that was actually like an original thought. But a lot of this is just tech, equipment, innovation, and science taken from other industries and applied to ours. And that's fine because we've been kept out of it for, oh God, nearly 100 years at this point. So it's like, we're just trying to catch up.
Yeah.
But, I don't, maybe I don't know how long it's going to actually take for us to have like all of the original thoughts, you know what I mean? But we're also talking about a plant here. Like, how many original thoughts can we have at this point? It's been around a while.
Yeah, you got to some things are definitely going to get regurgitated. I would love to see just a little bit of credit given to some of the originals. But people like to take things and rename it and then pretend like they fucking created it. It's like, dude,
there's a lot of that, whether it's from strains to dehydrators, whatever it might be. There's a lot of that.
Totally.
Yeah, you're just going to see, it's not going to be original ideas now. It's going to be fine tuning and dialing things in. It's like the reactor. The reactor's taking a process that we knew, but making it better. And
right.
Yeah.
Well, applying it specifically to know what we know about maybe decarboxylating THC, right? Like there's those elements, those temperatures, those times, those atmospheric all those things aren't like, this equipment isn't designed for that, so to speak, right? So we have to take it and re-engineer it sometimes to make it, apply it to our own cannabis sciences here. What the problem we're trying to solve. What do you got there, Pedro?
So this is like the smallest freaking vape I've seen. This is from Eden, where I work.
Is that 1 gram?
I believe so. I was actually just questioning that as I was holding it up. Eden, nude spelled backwards.
Oh, I never realized.
And I got one of these today. I haven't seen these until today. I've heard of them, but I usually don't go up into the post-processing department very much. Trying to catch my breath from running upstairs twice. Just a cool little thing. It's a vape cart. I'm not a big, cart guy, but the convenience of this, I mean, jeepers creepers,
Yeah, they're dope.
How's the flavor?
It's pretty good. I haven't got all the way down to know, if it lasts all the way down, but
well, hey, I mean,
I would buy
I get what you're saying, but some of them right off the bat, you know what I mean? Like I think you were away, but Brian was talking about how there's like a burnt popcorn flavor that you just can't get rid of out of a lot of rosin vape carts. And I think, or he was saying he thinks it's just like an toasted, I think is what his word was. But
so this is
fucking cool looking.
This is on the market right now.
I've been hearing about.
Holy shit!
This is version, I don't know, 1 for us, anyways. But you can see here. I hope I'm talking right. You can see here that there's, there's rosin in there. There's rosin I've pressed. I think this one's a 0.5 grammer, but
fucking neck. It's a baby Puffco.
5 times, and it does a preheat. And I think the preheat's for like 20 seconds. It's got a ceramic disc, or not a disc, dish bowl in there. And so it's just preheating it up. I honestly don't know like details like temperatures and whatnot, but it's preheating the batter. And then once it's preheated, again, it's in a ceramic dish and being warmed that way. So no coil.
Yeah, mini Puffco.
This is the one I hit earlier and it spilled over. So this is a bad example.
Well, they just came out with the Puffco Pivot, right? I mean, not that design. That's more like the previous one that came out. Yeah, it's just a straight vape pen,
This is exactly why we're switching models.
Yeah, so
why?
I was sitting in the car earlier today, or wherever I was, ripping them. I mean, I was just raging testing them because
as one does.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm up working, sometimes I'm sent outside to try things.
R&D,
QC. It's called
but
QC.
I was ripping it so much
QC
that it ended up boiling over,
That's the hardware.
And it's plugged right now.
That's what I heard about them. They get plugged up.
So we've got another version coming out, and honestly, I don't even think I can talk about it.
You shouldn't. You gotta wait.
Yeah, I don't have official permission to do that. So
Clearance.
we're
gonna have to cut this part out.
And
Jimmy,
it's
can
all
you edit that out?
We have to end the show right here, boys.
and it's all. Sorry,
Signed out.
it's great. All generally 73 to 159. First, second, maybe third pull from the wash.
Don't be putting your leftovers in there.
No, the fourth usually goes to fourth and food, which is the we drop it down to the 45 just to grab the food.
Yeah.
That goes to our edibles.
Yeah, man.
We have a gummy line now, so.
Dope.
Do
you guys do from scratch gummies?
Yeah. Yeah, we're always testing different flavors and shit.
Getting the pectins and all that stuff.
And Eden has always been known for just being like ultra organic. Okay. So all of the ingredients and stuff we use. That's why we're trying to do more of this, because this is more of, it's a bowl, but you're smoking live hash rosin, you know. So
I heard that the good fruits and like preserve, you know, the good stuff. What the hell is that about?
This one is Trop C.
The good stuff is actually from out of the country for the gummy bears and stuff like that. All the fruits and flavors and stuff. The good ones come from like Switzerland or something.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, like the real fine candy ingredients.
Well, I can't guarantee anything there because I don't have much.
I mean,
definitely don't have much in that department.
As long as you're not melting them. I know guys that melt down freaking Hasbro's and put rosin in them and then remold them back up.
Oof.
It's like, dude, come on.
Buying 25-pound bags off Amazon and shit.
Yep, there's people sitting there separating the colors and then they melt them down.
Fuck, man.
Just a big shit.
I think you're right. This vape did just die. It literally came off.
What I started saying before, when you do the decarb, you know, the reactor's dope and all, but you got to marry it to some hardware, and you got to do, you know, hardware R&D. There's a lot of good hardware. There's a lot of shitty hardware. So
I am definitely going to be talking to the owner. She usually controls the post-processing department, and send me some info if you would. If you have like, I want to. It's tough convincing investors and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because they're trying to pinch every penny.
Justify ROI, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. Mm-hmm.
A lot of them see the value in like a little increase on paper and the terpenes and stuff like that. So if we can, you know, I have COAs I can show.
Exactly. And then stopping points for chemicals, like for the decarb, you know, putting them. Yeah, just having that knowledge of where to stop and doing it more professionally than just putting it in an oven and watching the bubbles.
Yeah, honestly, like it opened a new door to research to me because, you know, I get that the vacuum decreases boiling points and pressure increases them, but being able to control it,
you know, that's what we've been doing with freeze dryers.
Right. Yeah, and that vacuum to sublimate the water up, but now flip it on the other side, and like now that I'm able to maintain that pressure and do different things, you know, I used to do my decarbs at 2 to 5 psi, so it would go to 5 psi, come down to 2, 5, 2. So now, knowing that the pressure is my friend, I've been going higher with it, keeping it at higher numbers, so like 8 and 12, 8 and 12.
That's good to know. This auto shuts off in your pocket within like a minute or two. I like that.
So you could actually dial in the pressures based on what terpenes your sample has. That's really interesting.
Yeah,
that is interesting.
Yeah, that's now my brain's churning. That's more fucking variables.
Yeah,
that's a lot of different variables right there. That's a lot of different variables. By the way, I was watching It was the Joe Rogan show, and I was gonna send it to you guys, and I should have. They were talking about variables, like they probably said variables 4, 5, 6 times in the show. We could have clipped them; it would have been funny.
Totally, still can't
do it. Send it to me. I've been keeping tabs on every time I fucking see variables anywhere.
Damn it! All right,
you got to put together a commercial.
I found a website that does it for movies.
Brian.
You type in any word or phrase, and it'll tell you every movie it was set in, and then give you like a 4-second clip where they said it. It's pretty. Yeah,
that might be easier.
Fucking amazing.
That might be easier to find it than me trying.
Pedro, you think I'm sitting here going through transcripts? That's why I'm asking people to send it to me.
Watching YouTube endlessly.
Jamie, man.
I gotta say, melting down Haribo, however you say it, those gummies and stuffing them full of rosin, BHO, or distillate was the way 99% of your gummies were made for probably close to a decade. It's not the way to do it. And hell, I don't even like gelatin. I'm a fan of pectin gummies, so
that's what I was talking about, pectin.
Yeah, it's even harder to do those, to dial that in and get it done right and consistently. But I do think it's a better quality product. On top of that, you talked about, guess what, I was listening while I was away.
You were listening.
Fandangle wireless headphones. Don't have to plug in these wires anymore because I figured out how the fuck my Bluetooth connection works. Turns out, guys, there's an antenna that hooks up to my computer that I've had for 5 years and never hooked the antenna up. So that's, I'm pretty sure, what was going on with my Bluetooth. Oh, just
imagine that
Hertz bag. Yeah. Anyways, so I think the source of your inputs are massive. Yeah. We talk all the time about how distillate is for just the booger outdoor garbage weed, the remediated stuff, right? We knock distillate all the time, but it's like, but yeah, I'm gonna go eat this fucking Hershey's chocolate edible, you know what I mean? Like, that's just been remelted down and formed into some other mold or something. I think the source of those ingredients are just as important as the source of the active ingredient, which is the cannabis.
Yeah.
And for me personally, and since for as long as I can remember making chocolate edibles, I've been purchasing from Lindt Chocolate, who's Lindt Sprungel, I think is the name of the parent company or whatever. But it's Ghirardelli, it's Lindt Chocolate, it's a couple other companies.
Switzerland.
Yeah, it's
the good shit.
Yeah, man.
It's fucking chocolate is what it is. It's not,
bat
sugar and corn syrup, a little bit of cocoa flavoring or something. It's fucking chocolate, and just like reading the label every once in a while helps. But like, it's crazy to me that people consume like Mars brand like chocolates. And like, listen, I fucking love Snickers too. Okay, throw a Kit Kat at me, I'll eat it. You know what I mean? Like Twix, I'm fuck it. I'm not even a fan, but I'll eat one. Three Musketeers. I don't even know what that is, but I'm still gonna eat it. It's not chocolate, and that's not the aim for. If I'm making something and I want to put my name on it, it's not going to be something that resembles a Three Musketeers. You know what I mean? And that quality of product, it's going to be much higher than that. And so, like, those are the people I'm looking to buy my cannabis products from, whether it's gummies or vape pens or flour or dabs or rosin, whatever it is. I'm looking for people that have that level of attention to the detail to their craft to give a damn. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, it's just the same shit I can go get at a dispensary. And, like, I don't know. It's just the same. It's all the same.
Yeah. No, it's just definitely, man. People that care, the products are night and day different.
So
man.
I want to move on because I think if I was watching this right now, it would pique my interest very much for it's called Reactor. It would definitely. And the reason that I want to move on is because, as I said earlier, you've been working. You've got a lot more than just that.
Yeah, man. Keeping the classes going is a mission in itself, but I feel like it's a must because,
I'm talking products as well. Like, available equipment.
I mean, yeah, the equipment, dude. Like the equipment I build because I want something specific and I can't buy it somewhere else, so I make it and then it's available. So doing the equipment, doing the classes, doing the Turp Wars, and been grinding my ass off, man. You know, I make hash. I love making hash.
Shout out Turp Wars. That was fucking fun.
Yeah, you're an awesome judge. Thank you again for putting in the time. It's not easy.
We all know. Well, you and I know what happened, but
hey,
it was so fucking fun, dude. So
yeah, life happens.
So what other equipment do you have available?
I got basically the whole washroom of gear, you know, from barrels to pumps to hoses, presses, wash machines, decarb, post-processing, cart fillers, whatever you need.
Our favorite insulation jackets.
Insulation, yeah, dude, that was the one that.
Come on, man, number one.
So you want to know the story about how the company got its name?
Yeah.
Yes, and I want to know if it's Pelle Polare or Pelle Polar.
You asked Shogrum from Hashishin, and he pronounces it perfectly. The first time he'd said it, I was like, that's how it's supposed to be said, because I've been fucking it up the whole time. He says it with a roll. Pelle Polare. It's like a European.
Pelle Polare.
Oh, that's... Yeah, well...
So then it's Pelle, I say Pelle Polare.
Hold on. That sounds more like almost French to me than Italian, because
I'm fucking it up.
Italians roll their R's. Yeah, that's like more the Spaniards.
Shogrum does it way better than me. I suck at it.
I love that you say that though, Brian, because when people come up to my booth and ask me how to pronounce my name, the what I ask them is I say, "Can you roll your R's?"
Yeah.
And if they say, well, it doesn't matter what they say, but I say it's a me, Fregroli.
Totally, dude.
That's what I said. I said it the other day that you have to say that it's a me because that makes your say Fregroli correctly. You don't say it.
You have to roll the R's before you get into the actual name. Yeah.
Yes.
So would you say that when building your equipment that you focus more on quality?
Yeah, I mean,
versus what?
Quantity. So
and lower price, and
yeah, I get it. Yeah, so everything that I do is focused on the utmost quality. I may take a little hit on quantity, which I've had people tell me, hey, your Reaper doesn't get as much of a yield as this machine right next to it. And I'm like, okay, so I know I don't want all that shit. I just want the heads. You're getting all these stocks.
Yeah, man.
Well, run it again. We run ours 4 or 5 times.
You could do, there's multiple ways to work a machine. They're not, but
But you want to start like that.
Yeah, you don't want to start.
You don't want to start with all the, you want to start with heads is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then as you go, just the quality drops off. You get less and less heads, more and more of the other stuff, and put it somewhere else.
You can even, in a machine, Osprey, whatever, you can even do the first wash with a paddle.
Yeah, a ton of guys do that. But yeah, I mean, there's tons of machines to use. But yeah, the focus on all the equipment is on quality. I smoke most of my own product. I'm a hash maker for myself first. And if you get some, I would consider yourself lucky because I wanted to smoke it all. And you got a little bit, like I go nuts for myself. It's not for somebody else most of the time. I'm very sensitive to dirty rosin. I get sick real easy. I could feel it in my lungs real easy. If it's fatty and lipidy, ugh, I just, so it's for me, my medicine. And I've been hustling, trying to keep that alive. You're asking about me keeping busy. I've been coming out to Michigan. We're going to be doing a legal drop out there. Probably in about 2 months. Yeah, that's been the thing I've been grinding on the most lately. Got a solid partnership out there with someone, and I've been hitting the lab hard.
Yeah,
what town?
Detroit.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Just to finish off my part of that, I wanted to address the price and quality issue because when I've recommended you in the past to a lot of people, that's the one thing that they can't wrap their mind around. And then I always recommend them to contact you and ask questions and, find out. Because that I just wanted to address it directly as to why it is. And I knew the answer, but.
Yeah, and I think that, that's the best advice you could give anybody when they're buying something. Like, call the company that makes it and find out what it does, how it's used. Like, don't just go on Instagram and look at the hype, because that's not going to get you the answers you want. You need to really dig in and understand. Maybe come to class. I talk about it for 2 straight days. That's always what I tell people first. Like, if you're going to buy something, maybe I have a book. You're in it, Pedro. Maybe first start with this book. Read this book. Get yourself a foundation, and then call me. We'll build the house together. And you don't have to use my shingles and my wood. I don't get mad if people don't buy my stuff. I still am going to help you out. It's not like the door closes.
Spreading the knowledge.
Yeah, that's what's most important. Like, if you want to grow the community and make more money, you got to get out there and educate people on why the products are great and why they're better than other stuff. And that's why I do the class. I want to sell more hash. I can't sell hash to the same 10 people over and over. We got to build this community. So if no one's out there building the community, then it's not going to grow very fast. So it's kind of.
I heard you say the books. Yeah, are they all available?
No, just version 1 is on the download, and then version 3 is hard copy.
Okay.
Version 2 is gone, and
so
now
you have 3 versions.
Yep, and we're on 4 now, and then once that's done, published, 3 will go away. And
so I can't remember which ones I have, and I just moved recently and whatnot. So
yeah, you've been busy moving. How's the new house?
I'm kind of still moving in, honestly.
Gosh.
Just
welcome to the next 3 years.
Yeah, right. That's what everybody tells me. Sometimes it takes years to do that. Starting to build the cold room, got the grower room already set up and running.
Dope.
There's some smaller personal things that I want to do. House has got a small, really skinny, for whatever reason, garage. I don't know why they've ever done that. But might close that off and open up another room in there. And so I've got some plans. But other than that, happy, man.
Hell yeah. Staying busy.
It's racking me pretty good. Montrose here is starting to turn into a mini Telluride. But lucky to be here.
Yeah, we all are, man. Hold on to your harnesses.
So what's next?
Michigan this weekend, if I feel up to it. I got to get out there and wash. Doing packaging, stickers. You know how all that shit goes.
I know how to package and do stickers, but can I come watch you wash?
Yeah, 100%, man. We get the
I was
lab
down
now,
in Detroit today, but I'm more than happy to come back down.
I still owe you a tour of our factory too.
Yeah, and I'm bringing my fucking drones and upping my insurance by $5 million.
I talked to my partner. He's like, dude, we are going crazy with that here. He's got you. We're gonna do a fucking video, man.
Yeah, maybe we just need to have you on as a guest because I saw that drone fly through that you had, and when I said that's you, I mean that's all you. I was so impressed. I had no idea.
Dude, it's wild.
Most people have no idea, dude.
I underestimated how.
You just have to understand volume. That's the one thing you have to understand. Once you understand that,
he had fucking robots pulling shit and do. I was
it's either that or thousands of people.
It used to be at Christmas 3,000 to 4,000 people, and now it is hundreds of robots.
Bro, I've literally sat in my high school football stadium and listened to someone behind me explain how she just got her shirt from his fucking store 2 days ago. That's how. Yeah,
I actually feel like it made me feel like I maybe underestimated your overall intelligence, and I thought, and not that that's a a bad
don't
thing
like to
because I
brag
thought
about it,
we were
but it's a
smart as
fucking-
shit. But when I saw that, dude, I can't. I was blown.
We built a monster, man. When we had that, it's that building. Half of our building used to be an old high school. It's now what connects to our brand new 250,000 square foot facility expansion.
Sick.
It's all robotic conveyors. We have a 4-story pick system.
Damn.
We have robots that can move pallets. The trucks are unloaded by bots.
How often do they fuck up?
I mean, you always got bots fucking up.
What's
But
always?
we also.
What's the percentage of?
I mean, every day.
No. But you always have something you're doing. I mean, we have an engineering staff for a reason. You know, there's a lot of moving parts when you're talking.
Yeah, if people saw the video, it would be.
Yeah,
understand.
When we release the final video, we can show it.
Is that? It's not public.
No, that was in progress. I gave you guys a sneak peek.
Ah, cool. I was going to say post the link for people to see.
Yeah, it's
been
a gem in Detroit for 20 years now. It's been going. So,
as long as we talked about it so much, what is it? What do you do?
Yeah, I was about to ask.
We decorate apparel and custom hard goods.
Okay.
So we own a printer manufacturer and we do our own custom proprietary print. We move our facility can handle about 85,000 units a day in and out. So what
if I want like a super colorful, detailed print?
Yeah, the print is not like anything you've ever seen. If you've seen normal DTG or screen prints are a nightmare. I mean, we used to be a screen print shop. We were a DTG shop. My tech has taken us to this whole other level. And now we're not even CMYK. We're CMYK, GP, YY, WW. Like, I mean, it's the number of print heads.
It's better, obviously better than
high def.
I'm wearing my old school It's a Me for Girly shirt right now, but the one I'm normally wearing on here with the 2014 on here was from him. The mats that you've seen at my events was from him. I've gotten several of my products from him. They have all held up just as well and certainly better than the screen prints. You can see this after years has been faded out. I mean, it's still there. It's not like falling off or anything, but it's faded. And so far I haven't experienced that.
So I would, but
I haven't experienced the fading or anything like that with your prints. And I wore these shirts every week. I wear it twice a week and throw them in the wash. Like
I actually mentioned your order today to my business partner because it still surprises me sometimes where like you placed your order and you placed a large order. And I'm like, oh shit, is it going to be there in time for his show? And I'm just like, fuck, he's got a show. And then I call and they're like, dude, it's already on work orders and it's going to leave the facility in 2 hours. I'm like, oh, I forgot. We're ridiculous.
And I'm only a couple hours away. And it's like, even like I mentioned the people sitting behind me in the stands at the high school stadium. They're like, I ordered this on Tuesday and it got here on Thursday. There's 2 days. They're so blown away. And let me just input something real quick here. At one point in my life, I worked for the second biggest promotional merchandising firm in the United States, who held accounts like, well, I probably shouldn't say that, but they don't really hold a candle. They're not even it's not even close to the production volume that he is producing, and it's really impressive.
There's a good chance that if you bought a shirt online that we printed it.
So if I was in chat, I'd be wanting to know right now, can anybody put through a small order? And I mean,
there's no minimum order. There's 10,000. No minimum order. No minimum order, dude.
Whoa.
The lady behind me bought that one shirt, dude. She just made it for herself and like her granddaughter or whatever. Like it was her one shirt. Got it in 2 days.
Damn, I was expecting
I ordered 2 mats. I ordered
order
20 shirts. I ordered
10 or 15 or even fucking 50.
But
it's
if
for
you
the
order that
common
many-
man, it's for the business, it's literally for everyone. He's hitting all the markets. He's doing it right. He's got this, it's just this one little corner of a very large market, but he is doing all of the volume. If you bought merch from your favorite YouTuber, it fucking came from him, dude. I'm telling you.
Is it relatively easy for
Yes, online fucking designers, just text to, you could see it right there what it's going to look like, what you're going to get in your
And just
inbox. They I will say I want to see some more extra larges, okay? Actually, I haven't checked in a while, but you know, I'm a big guy over here.
But the
There
website,
needs to- there-
get a website? Is there a website?
I was going to say there needs to be a link dropped in chat here.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of websites. That's just it. If you want school merchandise, you head to Spirit Shop.
So,
I mean, give them
so humble.
Give them a couple, 2 options.
Well,
people are going to want to click
merchandise.
on something.
If you have a kid in school and you want shirts for your kids' sports, whatever, spiritshop.com is the place to go. And then you can go pretty much, gosh, I'm trying to think of the best way. You can upload your own on Spirit Shop, excuse me, but there's also My Locker and Game One and Justin's, and we're just buried everywhere. So a lot of the merch is coming from us lately.
Okay.
And
all of them have no minimum orders?
Yeah. It depends on how they have their business set up with us.
That's crazy.
But I mean, like, if you order 50 shirts for your team, you get a heck of a discount too. We can also beat the price of just about anybody. Just the volume gives us that ability.
I would say you're probably going to have, what does that say? 50, 60 orders here maybe coming in tomorrow.
You would be surprised, excuse me, how fast orders can flow in, and it just,
he had that in the last 2 seconds, dude.
It's when I push code, I have to do it in the middle of the night so that I don't disrupt shoppers. I have a way to bleed servers over so it doesn't hurt someone when they're shopping. They don't notice that I changed the whole website underneath them. And I have to do it super late because otherwise there's always like 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 people shopping.
Is there restrictions to what you can print, as in canvas leaves,
Just lots of
words?
Well, I mean, we also print all of the High Times merchandise. We have a good relationship with that company. We worked with their investor teams for a long time. Excuse me. I don't remember you remember back in the day when you invested with High Times and you would get the merch kit. That came from us. So we worked with them for a while. We don't discriminate. I mean, during the elections, you'll see red and blue coming off the line side by side. I don't give 2 shits.
Just asking the questions that I can see. Chat. Because Aiden, that could be cool. You have an idea for a shirt or a hat.
If people have ideas. If you're a good designer, right now you have to have a little bit of tech skill because you need to run a web store. So that's a little bit of a job in of itself.
Oh, fucking nightmare, dude.
Yeah, but we have a solution coming that makes Shopify. It changes the game.
Your kid.
Hang on a sec. You said it was easy, and now you said it's not. I'm talking about for these guys right over here in the chat.
Well, it depends on what you're trying to do. Are you trying to sell products to people? Or are you trying to?
No, I just want to print something for 5 of my friends because I had a cool fucking thought, or we have a saying or something, you know.
That's easy.
Just go to Spirit Shop, upload your logo, add 5 to your shopping cart, and check out.
Yeah, boom.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have it in 2-3 days, man.
Making that all work behind the scenes is the fucking hard part.
Yep. And then what's cool is, like, for Broly, if he goes back to the website where he ordered, he's still going to see his logo, so he can just click it again and reorder.
It'll show it on everything, you know. But yeah, I want to. You don't embroider though, right?
We actually we had an entire embroidery floor, and we just got rid of it last year.
Yeah.
Embroidery is a flipping nightmare.
Freaking money pit.
Yeah.
It is, and scale was just near impossible.
Exactly.
And
That's
you can't
where
match
the minimum
colors.
orders come in. Minimum orders on those all day because it's fucking nightmare.
Yep.
Well, it's I mean, isn't that the file transfer is like? I mean, for you, it's probably simple, but I know like at the ground level at a local screen printer, they're like, yeah, $75, just change that over to the. It's like, nah, dude.
Ours shot off to India, and 5 minutes later came back, and it cost us $0.25.
Yeah,
I don't know. It was
exactly.
Embroidery files there was just a group of people churning out embroidery files, but 2 people are going to do it different. That's your problem with embroidery. You need to have a consistent designer.
Was there? Could AI not do that now though?
Probably
with pretty high precision, like more so than humans anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Isn't
sure
that the point of the lifts and stuff, you know.
you would have to train it, I would guess.
For sure.
You would have to get some good.
You could also train it off of different people's like artistry, you know what I mean? Like their styles, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it would be interesting to put in the source image and then the final embroidery image and have it figure out how they got from A to B and then start handing it source images, right? See what its result is.
It's gonna be chunky at the start.
Yep. There's a YouTuber out there who trains AI agents, and he does fun little things like you got to escape a maze, and if you don't do it in 10 seconds, it punishes them and they explode. So they slowly learn to try to get the hell out of the maze, and it's funny. He'll run it, and it'll be 30, 40, 50,000 iterations in a month of training before it finally is smart enough to do what it needs to do.
I mean, it's like I don't want to compare it to anything else but that. Let's just go with that.
You know, we were talking nutrition stuff and stuff that ingredients. Just the other day, the wife and I were talking, and I brought up an old Animaniacs clip.
Yeah.
You ever remember they had a whole nutrition label song, and this was from when was Animaniacs?
Early 90s.
I'm gonna say 92. I don't know, mid 90s. 94 probably.
93.
Okay, yep. I was fucking teetering over here.
But the whole song, the way Animaniacs were incredible every time with their songs. But they did. Where were we at?
What's that bowl, Pedro? I called you Hydro. This guy's higher than the kite over
there. I am. Yeah, I did this earlier today in the press room, and
how's this thing hit?
It's actually surprisingly good. It did clog at first. I don't know if you saw me. I had to kind of like pop it. But yeah, it seems good so far. And I'm not a fan of carts.
That's the one they put the rosin in, though, right? That's not like a cart. That's like a rosin ripper.
What do you mean?
No, that's like a cart. That's a different one.
It's decarb oil in there? Oh, okay. That's what there was that other one you had.
It's an all-in-one.
There's that other one you had that was version 2 was coming out that we had to cut short.
Yeah, well, I just don't know if I can.
Is it not ripping?
No, this one. Oh, somebody in chat said it died, and I didn't. I have a charger here, but then my light goes out, so I'll put on the charger.
None of those things don't have a wick either. That's the killers. Those fucking wicks.
Yeah, the wicks, the coils. This is heating a ceramic dish.
Yeah. It's like a mini Puffco, totally.
Yeah, it's like trying to be clean about it.
Dig it.
It makes sense, but it's also strange to think about. Like, Pedro, you don't like to reheat your bowls, your dabs, right?
I know where you're headed here.
Yeah.
So isn't that the same?
Yep.
Right?
So
you got to clean it out with a
I don't like carts. I don't like hitting anything. I like a rig.
Yeah, same.
When I go most places, I'll try to take a rig, until I broke my big nice travel rig.
How do you like the Puffco, Pedro?
I had one for quite a long time. I actually had some really nice custom glass for it. You know, I replaced the dumb one. I don't know. I don't like the way it looks. It was fine.
It's convenient,
I found out that I smoke a lot, so
super convenient.
I found myself having to take it apart and having to clean it so many fucking times.
Yeah, man.
How did you clean it? Let me hear about your cleaning process.
I don't even remember. It's sitting out there on the counter. It was.
You don't remember. I don't believe you.
Oil coming out from where the fucking plastic connects on the base, and there's oil coming out right. There's no way to clean that. You can't take that shit apart.
No, I remember it kind of being not. I think I have the older versions.
Yeah,
because I just gave up on them.
I just got a new one because, like, you know, I love the rigs too, and just carrying a fucking rig around with the dunk bucket and all that shit is just getting to me.
The one that I showed with the ceramic dish, I can't see it being like on a dance floor or at a rave or something. It would be like going outside a bar and having a cigarette, you know.
Yeah,
that's a classy piece.
This one is
that's a convenient concealer.
Style, this is actually a nice little pack.
Looks like you're picking your tooth, but you're taking a hit. Really?
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm actually. Usually, I'm not excited. We get samples every once in a while. It's usually about every month, and I'm usually not stoked when we get the carts. But these, I'm stoked to try them actually, because so far so good. I don't know the heating mechanism with this one, but the Trop C in that one, oh, it's been good so far. But to go back to what Bud said, yeah, that one there is reheating that dish every time. So you're taking a dab, you're getting the hot, you're vaporizing it, and then you're shutting it off, and then the next time you're doing it again.
You're hitting your residual before you get the cleaner stuff that's on top, I would feel like.
And when you're done smoking it, you've got to hold it flat or put it flat because it's in a dish. It's very portable. It's very cool. A hike or something, you know. Version 2 is going to be
need it on a gimbal.
Yeah, right. But the flavor in that one seems to hold a little better than these.
Yeah, that makes sense though. It's like dab versus a.
But it's generally, I mean, when people get carts, I think the primary reason is convenience.
Mm-hmm.
They're willing to give up a little bit of that flavor, in my mind. In my opinion,
same with pre-rolls. Pre-rolls and carts are the high, you know.
You say willing, but I think it's more that they just don't care.
People that don't have a rig, you know, they're
like it's kind of like
entry level.
Some people are fine with
how many
beer.
guys, this is so normal to you guys on this panel. How many fucking people do you know are gonna go out and buy a $90 torch and have that thing fucking flaring around their house with a piece of hot glass just so they could take a hit?
That's kind of sketch.
I have such a funny story.
When you bust out the torch, like people look at me like, "Man, what are we doing? Like, what kind of
100%, 100%."
I have such a. But you know, when I used the blazer the first time, dude, I was so pissed at it. I overfilled it. It fucking shot a flame across the ring. I was so pissed. But
I did that with the dragon. It shot like it was a 2-foot flame.
God, I had something to say about the carts and something, and I fucking forgot it.
You guys were
talking
about
go ahead. The problem that I have with them is they're so convenient that I can just sit and rip it. And I, like today, earlier in the press room, man, music was going. I could hear the freaking music bouncing off the walls, and it was closed in, and it was getting tighter. And
like, wait a minute, too much.
I don't I don't necessarily get to that point with this type of product, even if I'm sitting there chiefing it. And I've gotten those things pretty hot to the point where they're like uncomfortable to hold. So I understand. But I think it's a great way to almost like microdose unknowingly. You know what I mean? Because for me, it's like we talked about this, I think on the MBGS podcast, how like 1.5 milligrams or 2.5 milligrams might be the same to someone that's like 50 or even 100 or more milligrams, right? And so for someone that is used to that 50 or 100 milligrams to sit there and take a 2.5 milligram dose, I don't think that's hurting anything, and again, it's like maybe there's a point at which you can like consume it to have that effect, and I know there is, but like for me it's just a little bit higher
The owner
tolerance. Yeah, it seems like more of a 2.5 than a 25 or
the owner of Eden doesn't smoke at all, but he showed me the version 2, and I was like, oh, can I take that one? And he's like, no. He hit it. He was like, this is mine. And I was like, oh, okay. So I would agree with you. He said it was just for the flavor, but I do remember what I was going to say though. I think that people, especially what do we got, 62 people watching, when they go in to purchase in a dispensary, you need to ask questions.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for, to go over and explain. But you need to ask questions because you need the answers, especially if you're looking for something more quality. And if they don't have the answer, well, number one, I think there needs to be or number two, there needs to be more education on the dispensary.
The bud tenders need more for sure.
But it needs to then be brought to us to answer that question so that we can educate them ultimately.
There's so many variables there, like the turnover rate of the bud tender, I think, is a big problem with the education side of things, because you as a vendor can go in there and educate them over and over and over again and about your whole line of products that might take you 6 months to a year to get through, right? And by that time you might have a whole new staff, right?
True.
That's just one of the many variables.
Or the good people move up and they're no longer right there.
That's true. Yeah, they might be making the purchasing decisions or something, or just the staffing decisions at that point, right? But I want to quickly ask. That's a huge point too, Brian. The grower, the processor, all the way down to the dispensary itself. Obviously, that's probably going to be the only relationship you're going to have. But that's your access to everyone else. You know what I mean? And so that's, it goes deeper than just there. I want to quickly ask, though, everyone on this panel, and I have a feeling I know general idea. When's the last time? Pedro, don't leave me now. When's the last time you went into a dispensary to buy a product for yourself? I'll start. Mine was probably, I think, last summer. If it wasn't last summer, it was the summer before that, but I think it was probably 9 months ago.
Okay.
I still go every couple weeks. Try different flavors, see what's out there.
It's probably been a good 4, 5, 6 years. When I go into dispensaries now, it's, I don't want to say weird, but just following their processes, the IDs, all their checks, walk here, walk around here, can I look at it? Can I not? It's all just kind of,
can I touch it?
Yeah. It's just, and I know the bud tenders try to put make it comfortable, but for me, it's just weird. And I go in there to pick up samples, but I grow, I process, and when I don't have, which is, I can't remember the last time I haven't had myself.
Pretty much.
I mean,
basically, we're bringing knowledge with us.
That's unfortunate, but true. Yeah, I've been very consistent. I work hard, and I always have enough to provide for myself for a very long time now.
What about you, Brian? When's the last time you went to a dispo to buy something for yourself? Even just to try it out.
Yeah, never once went to a dispo in my life.
That's wild. Not what I was
expecting. That's wow. Why?
Just access, like ease of access from the homies, and every time I would see somebody with something from the shop, it was bunk. It was like, you should have called Brett. Got your kush. You got boned at freaking Buds and Roses. They screwed you on an eighth.
So were you around access enough that you saw it? Like, okay, so let me change my perspective for you, maybe, or give you my perspective, I guess. Like, I grew up and there was no access, right? I started growing before there was access. It wasn't until really, maybe 5 years, 6 years ago that there was actually access throughout the state. Like, I could go up north and get something on the way, some edibles or something. I didn't have to go down to literally the south side of 8 Mile just to hit the closest dispensary, like, I grew up in a time, I guess, where there wasn't access, but then also saw this access just be tremendously dropped upon us, right?
Yeah.
And through that, there was some good and some bad. Obviously, I think by and large, in terms of quality, it's been mostly bad. But it seems like you had like a different experience where like you had such access to quality before there was even access to the public that you were like so far ahead of it that whatever was in the dispensary, because around here it was like medical caregivers were supplying dispensaries for years before it became recreational. Right. So like there was a certain standard of quality, at least in certain areas, certain markets anyway, throughout the state had certain standards. And you had to kind of compete for that. But it sounds like you were like doing that in a different way. Can you explain that?
I mean, I grew up on the East Coast, so I didn't have access to stuff for a long time, and I wasn't the cool kid either. So getting weed from the kids at school was hard. I remember one time I got some weed and I had some seeds, and that was the last day I relied on anyone for weed, because I started growing it myself, and all through college, same thing. And then when I finished college, I moved out to Los Angeles, and my best friend was growing the best kush that you could imagine. And I lost my job after a couple months because I got laid off. And he was like, come and work with me in the gardens. You know what you're doing. So that was the start of my weed career. We went from house to house. We had like, I think 4 or 5 houses that we were handling, and then pooled our money, got a facility that had like 100 lights in there, and we would tag team it, and then that pushed the legal brand, and those guys are all still doing their thing over there legally.
That seems like such a condensed version of whatever your intro into that history is. Oh my gosh.
And then right at the same time as when I started making hash, I stepped back because I was like making good money, and they offered me a commercial
Bro, you need to slow down a second. I still have this thought in the back of my brain about how I started growing my own weed because I bought a quarter that had 18 seeds in it. And I'm like, well, can these fucking grow? And they did, all 18 of them. And then I had to buy a grow tent and stuff it in my closet. And then, here we are, I don't know, 12 years later or something like that. But now you're already making hash. Slow down, dude. We have 35 minutes left. We can get into
so
this.
Let me ask oh, and then he leaves. We'll have enough time. Ask the panel, what year, because obviously we probably don't remember a date, did you start growing, And then what year did you start processing?
How about our guest first?
Me?
Yeah, you're the guest.
And processing can be, I mean, if you're making hash, you're doing so.
I think I started growing in 1992. I was in 8th grade.
I was going to call you an old fucker until you said 8th grade.
Yeah, I'm 46 now.
I will be soon.
It's not all it's made out to be. So yeah, that was when I started growing, and it was not good weed, dude, for a long time. It was like swag from the side yard, but I didn't have to go and like chase weed down. You know, it was fun.
Indoor.
It was outdoor at the time. I was like going out into the woods and finding a spot out there that looked safe, and you'd plant some plants, and you'd come back in the fall, and if you got something, you were lucky. You don't want to go back to that spot often. Someone's going to see you going over there, and then you just lost your crop. So it was, you know, I had maybe 6 of those little locations, and then I would go at the end of the season, make sure, you know, things were doing what they're doing. Harvest when it was harvest time. Slowly moved into the closet on the East Coast.
Walk out with garbage bags over your shoulder.
Yeah, at night with a flashlight, troop out there into the woods, harvest, get out of there.
Damn, this is turning into a good question.
That's like a guerrilla mission, huh? Yeah. One time we went and someone had chopped all our plants down like the day before we got there. So I was like, "Fuck,
damn!"
You know, one day late.
So
processing
hash.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of. I have to think about it for a minute. Maybe like 2014 or 2015 ish. I want to say we were doing some open blasting in the backyard. And then it was like, okay, this isn't safe. We, you know, paid to set a guy up and had a guy doing all our stuff for us. And then I didn't process again until maybe 2018. Started making hash, doing bubble. And it was like, you know, chalky, chunky hash. It wasn't like the hash of today.
Obviously air dried.
Yeah. It's bubble hash. And then just slowly grabbing little things from Instagram, digging into people, asking questions, finding out, you know, trying things, and then boom, here we are today.
We're growing.
What about you guys?
I'll just drop this on you guys. This is 10 years ago. There's that same fucking chocolate I was talking about.
All right.
I'm not full of shit.
Dude, I've had that chocolate. I knew exactly what you're talking about.
Making, what was it? What did that say? Making
dry sift hash chocolates, aka hashaladas, is what I was calling them at the time.
See, dry sift and like fresh frozen are 2 whole different products.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Then pull up my fucking channel. I've got
dude, but that's you know, it all started there. I don't know. I've only been doing it for 10 years, so
that's the medicine, man.
Growing and processing at the same time.
Growing and process. So did you grow to process? Did you, I mean, how did
No, man, I literally started growing because I got 18 seeds or however many it was and a 1/4 ounce of weed, and I was like, this is not cool. You know, I told my buddy who I was getting the weed from, and he's like, sorry about that. You should try popping them. I'm like, okay, I will. And I just started reading on Reddit, created an account on Reddit, posted on Microgrowery for a while. That's where I got most of my knowledge on the grow side. Just in time to grow, hooked up with him and, you know, some other dudes way back in the day. Failed over. I mean, the first grow went great, honestly. It's probably all genetics and just fresh equipment and clean room and all that fun stuff. Second grow is awful. Third grow is kind of a little bit more back on track, and then it was just struggles for a while. But yeah, I mean, to get basically, you know, not what you wanted, but free seeds and be given an opportunity like that and to turn into something like it is today, I certainly have no regrets. You know what I mean? But I started growing because shit was expensive. You know what I mean? And it got to the point where it was more valuable to have a roommate full of flowering plants than it was to have a roommate that was paying rent and utilities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's the best.
Quite frankly, yeah, man. A
complain.
couple tables of ladies, you know, just flowering, making everything smell delicious.
Absolutely.
Flooding everything once in a while, you know, and just do what you got to do. But, and then I started processing because, quite frankly, it just seemed like the cleaner way to consume it. You know, I got turned on to like the volcano and stuff like that pretty early on, and just trying to consume it in cleaner ways. And certainly had my struggles of finding the correct ways of doing that. You know, we all back in the day were smoking out of apples and fucking plastic bongs and shit like that, you know, water bottles, whatever, you name it. Like, we've all done it. But
fuck, I took like a big ass bag and shook it over. I took my back screen door, big glass back. It's on YouTube.
Half glass, half screen, yeah.
And shook it all out.
We had a 6-person trim table that had a 220U liner screen on top and then a mirror underneath it. And you take all the stuff off the top and scrape it with like a blade. You have a big fucking pile of keef. Anyways.
Yeah, this is all before trim bins came out, right? You know,
yeah,
that was
now
like
we got little personal ones.
Yeah,
6-person trim table.
What about you, Budsy? First time growing, or first year growing, and first year process?
Oh gosh, first year, I was probably 16, so I don't even know when that was.
Don't tell me it's in the 2020s.
Oh fuck no, dude!
No, he's an old fucker. He's pulling up a calculator.
Yeah,
right.
I got
it's like 72 or something like that, right?
It's like, no, it'd have been 91. So, but that was just like porch growing, you know, nothing special. 95 was when I got my first 1,000-watt and had my first actual grow room. So that was a full
What
room.
did that grow room look like?
Oh God.
In 1995,
Mylar
1,000 watt.
Yeah. Mirror Mylar, like blinding when you went in that fucker. And the fans would wiggle the Mylar, and like, I swear it was a fire hazard. Like, I was magnifying that shit on walls. You could smell smoke on the paint. It was just a walk-in closet, you know, converted it. The shelves were
that old lead paint burning off into your fucking herb.
I was in an apartment in a very hot state. And so
very red state.
Yeah, very red and warm and summer. So my upstairs neighbors had like, you know, the 100-degree closet. Could never figure out why. It's just, that was my first grow. But I mean, I hit it at the right time too. So I started, of course, engineer, had to do hydro. So I started with hydro, and that was the kickoff of the dro craze, where I was in an area where we're talking $50 an ounce, you know, coming right fresh across the border. So, and I was getting 400 an ounce at the time. So it was and it was improperly dried. I mean, there's all kinds of, now that you know, I look back like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, we've had a lot of knowledge spread around.
Yeah. I mean, we were overgrown.
Speaking of knowledge and the small batch drying and curing, shout out to Red Setter Farm. You know what's in here?
Nope. But
why don't you show us or tell us?
Tote Tech.
Yeah, Tote Tech. It's I'll show you in a second. Hold on.
Tease.
Keep talking.
So
yeah. I'm just gonna tease.
Yeah. That was really the first grow. But then, I mean, when I moved up here, I had my whole system was stealth. I mean, I was full room, full tables, everything, but you would walk in my garage and be right next to it and had no clue what was going on. But when we went rec, then it was like, oh, now I can show it. It doesn't matter. And shit went a little crazy.
So what about processing?
First time I processed, I mean, I've seen people blast, but I also seen people explode. So I'm old enough to have a friend whose entire back is just a scar. And so BHO was never a direction I would go. So when I heard about solventless, the first time was a buddy. He had bought some bags. It was probably 10 years ago. And I took a couple ounces in a jar over. Nice.
Like
but
nuggets.
And that's going to be processed, correct?
No, this is the cure bin. So this is actually dried and cured flour that is yet to be finally manicured. But this is a garlic punch. Shut up, med grower.
Yum.
If I could get a focus, I'm gonna have so many trichomes. Oh god, so many trichomes. So many trichomes.
I know I have a hard time getting it to
keyboard.
focus.
Put your hand behind it. Focus trick.
So your first time was bubble.
Yeah, right. And it was, I mean, we're talking wooden spoon, 5
Did you
gallon
say the
bucket,
year?
10 years ago. So 15-ish,
Okay.
probably.
Okay.
It was before I was up here. So yeah, it was at least 10 years ago. But then we dried in a pizza box and it was inconsistent. And I thought, that's not what I want. You know me, I wanted something repeatable, and that wasn't it at the time. So I'm like, nah.
Even back then,
I wasted weed. So I didn't do it. And then Freeze Dryer Tech came out. And that's when I'm like, oh, time to revisit, because I literally had an entire basement with 4 shelves, 5 shelves deep. I mean, I was jars everywhere. I couldn't fucking smoke it fast enough. 12 plants. The size I grew was ridiculous.
That's a good start.
I came from kind of the old time when we were judged by plant count, not by weight around here.
Mm-hmm.
So it was way better to grow one giant ass plant than to grow 4 smaller plants. Way different time. So I always grew big, and now I can't help it. They just fucking grow big.
I'm still doing that shit, dude.
I try to, and I'll be like, this time I'm gonna fucking cut them after 2 weeks, and then but 15-foot ceilings helps. You know?
Yeah, my girls are too big for 10 gallons already. We just gotta do 25. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry.
Snap them lights, man. Hey, how long you guys vegging for? A full year?
Right.
yeah, 16 years actually.
Yep. But still vegging. For that first plant.
You mean you don't run your veg LEDs at 100%?
I run everything at 100%.
Just depends on the height, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I dim with the height in the flower room, and other than that, it's fucking Thunderdome.
Why do you do that? Why do you do that instead of turning it up and down and leaving the height?
Like which is what I do. My lights are locked in. I don't raise or lower them. I don't have the functionality he has, so that's why he's going to tell you that. But I just go to the switchboard and change it, whenever need be.
Because my room is designed to reflect photons from all directions. That is why it's a long, skinny room. My lights are in a bar in the center that's raisable. You get all the reflection. Plus, I have the inner canopy lights. So I'm just, nice. I mean, it's grow rooms are blinding, but normally you can look down. You can't look down in my room. Yeah. And even with the glasses, it's going to hit your angles. Like, I find myself doing this shit in my room. And
this is the knowledge I was talking about, and you alluded to that we didn't have when we started. Mm-hmm.
We've learned so much, and even just paint selection, right?
How many people wanted gloss? We had to fight people on gloss for a decade.
Everyone swears gloss reflects better, and no. And the diffusion factor is a whole, the people still wanting to run Mylar, or the tents even, your diamond patterns, and it's like, man, we were doing that how long ago?
I know. Why don't tents come with just white walls inside? I don't understand it.
Yeah, right.
There was a manufacturer, I cannot remember who, that has a white interior.
Are they not around anymore? Because
don't remember.
You know what I've been looking at is using my jacketing material to make tents out of, because it's thick, and like my garage is cold as shit. So
insulated tent.
Yeah, right. Man. That'd be a good idea. Think about a Pelle tent.
Right.
Yeah. That's an interesting one too, because a lot of times newer growers, when they're talking of building out a space, if they're on concrete, we always recommend, like, look, put something down, elevate. Yeah. If you're putting a reservoir in, elevate it. If you're putting plants on the ground, elevate them. Don't suck the heat out, right? Same thing. Don't let them sit in their pee, and you don't let them freeze their balls off.
So I want to tell my story of growing and processing. I think it was 98 that I started growing. And I believe it was a gorilla grow tent. Nonetheless, it was an 8x8. I had it was a very weird apartment. It had a huge bedroom, and there was enough room to put the 8x8 in there, not really disrupt me too much. And the back side where my window was elevated. It was second floor on the back side. So when I exhausted, even though I was using, a carbon filter, and I mean, I think there was high times back then, right? There was some minimal magazines that you could get tidbits of knowledge. So I had an 8x8 tent, and the funny part is, the really funny part, you can go and you can buy them, and maybe you could have back then. The little sprayers that spray your scents, and you can set them to 5, 10, 15, whatever, I went around and took them from like bathrooms and different places because that's the only place I saw them. And I had probably 8 of them in my apartment going off every 5-10 minutes. And then it was then being filtered right through the grow room ultimately, so we had flower. It didn't go great, at all. Go great. Man, you can tell I'm high over here. But it was enough. And then we moved, and my buddy was a geek. He actually built my computer here. And he showed me, I believe it was Marcus, Bubble Man. He showed me the video of him making bubble hash. And I actually told this story when we had him on the show. I bought a set of his bags, and he told us when we were interviewing him that his wife was actually hand stitching them at the time, which is awesome. And we were growing crappy weed, it wasn't great, but we had jars. We were doing all right. But I still remember the first time that we actually took a bunch of flour and threw it in water. Like, that decision for us was a hard decision, because this was like all of our smoke, and we're just dumping in. And if this fails, we got to start buying wheat, and it's going to suck because the shit was expensive. And put ice in, water in the kitchen. Probably used, I don't know what we used, kitchen utensil to stir it up for a while. Probably beat the hell out of it. Pulled it out, scooped it. I think we may have even dried it in like a patty, because I don't remember doing the post spread out to air dry, and I'm still not an air dryer. And we had hash. We all of a sudden had hash. We were like, holy shit, we were stoked. And we'd smoke it. I think probably had to go buy that smoke. Fuck, it was a long time ago. And we'd put it on top of our bowls, and it was fucking great. Absolutely great. So the first time making hash was 99.
So we used to get like good blocks of little. Well, I mean, they weren't huge. Little blocks of Afghani.
Nice.
You know,
nice.
So the first time I made hash, I was very disappointed. You know, it was like, that's not what I was expecting, and that was a lot of fucking weed. So
yeah, I bet our expectations were rather low, you know. So, and then I moved on to, there was a big gap where I didn't grow or process or anything. It was always buying on the gray market, whatever you want to call it. So I moved to Colorado 13, 14 years ago now, and didn't start growing until probably would have been 3 years after that. So in 2010, 2013, maybe started really growing again. And the main reason I started to grow was because I don't know if we were married at the time, but my ex now, Izzy, you guys probably, most of you know her. She was on a lot of pills for pain and stuff, fibromyalgia. And I'm not wearing the hat now, but shout out to Mendo Dope. Chemicals kill, cannabis heals. So I wanted to at least get her off of the handful of pills she was taking at night. So built a, I mean, you guys probably saw a lot of the videos too, built a really good grow room with a separate bedroom. But it helped. It was great, but it didn't it just wasn't enough. You know, it just wasn't enough. So then I moved on to, I think the first processing was the dry sift on the back screen door, you know, sliding screen door, took it off the rails and laid it down in the kitchen and shook the shit out of it, you know, probably using a 45 micron bag. I don't know. It was a bubble bag, I believe, that I was using. And then the first time I made bubble hash, out here, I made it in the shower in my bathroom for the drain.
It's a Kramer episode.
And what's that?
It's a freaking Seinfeld episode over here.
And I did the layers with the buckets, 5-gallon buckets. Had, I don't know what bags I had at the time. And it failed, obviously, for the reasons you guys know, you know, the heat, or, you know, the heat mainly, and the air drying. I never really knew the freezing it and using the grater. I never really.
We never microplaned.
Yeah, I never learned that until fucking recently. Probably the last 5 years or so. I don't know. And then I realized at some point in time that I needed the fucking room to be cold, because it was sticky, and it was, I don't know where I may have learned that, but I don't remember that point. But I just knew the goddamn room needed to be cold. So I built the cold room, and that's where the Build a Soil video came up. The old ass room, small ass room. And then I just wanted better. And so it was originally hash for her, and it was just shitty, probably because we weren't microplaning it, probably full of fucking mold. And so then I did some pressing of flour. I think there's videos of that up too, in an outdoor shed with it was on a fucking
it was like an old t-shirt press, wasn't it?
No, it was on a goddamn, I can't think of the Vice. mounted vise in our shed, hot as shit, just didn't know anything about temperature. Cleanliness obviously wasn't super important at the time because I was doing it in my shed. There's so many videos that I need to go back and watch it. Probably learned, probably, and then when I started making bubble, I knew that it could be squished. I just knew that I could extract, and I think at that point in time, well, I think I had absolutely watched Frenchie. Shout out to Frenchie. He would be the one that I would say between him and Marcus, my biggest, they're the two up there. You know what I'm saying? The two that I look up to the most. I forgot where I was going with that.
Just learn how to do hash and where you got your start and why.
Oh, I knew that we could then press it. I knew there was a way that we can press it. And I'm self-taught. I didn't watch many other than Bubble Man or Frenchie, and I just completely progressed by myself until the last 4 or 5 years when we started to get on Instagram. Maybe it's longer than that. Am I saying 4 and 5 and it's 8 or 10?
Yeah. 100%, dude. We're old now.
You got lost in the sauce.
I was saying 4 and 5, and I was like, I think we're a little bit.
I keep saying 10 just because I pulled up a video that was 10 years old, but I know there's videos older than that out there.
Well, a reminder the other day, it said Bezbro and I had been friends for 8 years now. So I guess, yeah, it was much longer than that.
I think the difference between probably our generation and the generation of people that Brian's able to reach nowadays is that, yeah, we were all self-taught because the information was on lockdown. It was hard to come across. It was taboo to talk about. It was illegal to do.
Oh, yeah.
And to put yourself out there and put that information out there in a particular way that might be so descriptive that you could, whatever, it was a stretch then. Nowadays, it's like we need it because there's still not that access to quality information in like a formatted, easy to understand ELI 5 way, right? Like I'm walking in, I know that hash is great. I grew a cannabis plant once in my life. I want to learn how to make the best hash ever. Who could I go to? Well, fucking guess what? Brian's got a class in your town nowadays. You know what I mean?
Got a book.
That's the difference between our generation. Yeah, and a book.
Literally chapter by chapter, it tells you step by step, one thing in front, 1 foot in front of the other. You'll get to the good hash if you follow the book.
There you go. And there wasn't. I mean, we were reading books, but these books were decades old by the time we got to them. I think.
Yeah,
I don't know how many.
There's nothing now that's like, step by step to make quality hash. There's books to make hash, but they're not rosin hash like we're smoking now, dabbing on,
So what do you have to just like dig up some fucking corporation's SOPs to hopefully get a hint nowadays or what? Like
just tap in, come to class.
I'm trying to figure out how to share some links up here, but I might not be the best person to do that. Hey, Jamie, can you pull up these links and put them in chat?
Throw in the private chat. I got you.
I can't figure out how to get there.
Right side, all the way to the right of your screen. There's like comments, banners.
Well, I know how to get there. I can't find how to share my YouTube.
Control C.
This
highlight it. Control C and then Control V in the other tab. Whatever.
I was looking at the wrong side of the screen. That's Twitch. This is. God, I have a lot of fucking.
That'll do.
Got to pay attention, everybody. I got this. Why can't I just put it in chat? It makes more sense, doesn't it?
I mean, you can do that too. That's fine. You have permissions to share links.
So this is
pretty sure.
I think so. So that's just mine, but Jamie over there is going to have to do the Pelle's. Or what are they? Maybe we can just type it out here. Give people some links that they click on.
What are you trying to find?
You
class? Oh my, it's just PellePolarco.com, and then you click on the little shop now button, and it goes into the store, and you could click on the classes, solventless seminar, kind of opens that tab, but there's nothing to sign up for right now. I gotta get something going. I got a fucking full plate right now, man.
Well, let's add on to it, because if you're in a certain area that Pelle Player hasn't reached yet, and you happen to know someone that has a venue that he could fucking throw up a little class in, like, it doesn't take much, a couple thousand square feet. You know, it could be an old VFW hall. It could be it could be a Capacity Club. It could be a dispensary that's operating. You know what I mean? I'm sure there's ways to do it. Yeah.
Old warehouse. Doesn't have to be
fucking
perfect.
Airbnb that you got permission to do that in.
right?
Yeah.
We should have asked this question earlier, but are you one man team? Is this just you?
Yeah, man.
Him and his engineer. He's got an engineer buddy he brought up a couple times, right?
Yep. My engineer.
Have that brainstorming, pal. You know.
Yep, he puts together, you know, a lot of the hardware stuff. I have a metal guy that does a lot of the metal work. I'm not a welder or a grinder. You know, I can't do that.
Wait, you're not physically putting together every single piece of equipment that I buy from you?
But yeah,
all the wires and everything.
But you've got to design it, and you've got to contact them.
He's a fucking entrepreneur, man. I'll give him respect for sure.
This is what I was talking about with the blood, sweat, and tears, man. There's a lot that goes on behind the scenes, having to even contact somebody to make these things, and it's for being a one-man team. You're badass. That's why you should be so comfortable sitting over there.
Thanks, man. You know, it's you know, fighting the good fight. I'm out here carrying the flag for us all as high as I can carry that quality flag, you know. Just don't settle for less and push it. Hopefully the message comes through clear enough. You guys, you know, see my products and you're like, yeah, they're good. Brian's out here doing it right. And that's my goal. Like, I'm trying to be transparent. So you talk about knowing the farmer and knowing the processor. Like, I tell you for 2 days straight about all my shit. I'm so clear about it and transparent about it. Couldn't be more.
Well, I know your ultimate goal is the high quality product that you can.
But even so, with, you know, all the commercial offerings and stuff we've talked about, every home hasher should have at least one of your products, because everyone needs an insulation jacket like that. It's the core product, and it benefits everybody. You should have one. If you don't have one, go to the website, buy a damn jacket.
Yeah, dude. Man, they're good for growers too. Like, your nutrient tank likes to stay at a relative 100%. Consistent temperature. I got those jackets on everything. Come back full circle. You want to know the whole story about the jackets and the company? When I know when I first started making hash, because I know how old my son is. I started this company the year he was born. I started making hash before he was born, the year before he was born. And one night I was out in the garage and my wife was pregnant with him in the house. You know, I was out in there mixing my hash. I ran out of ice and I was like, fuck, what am I going to do? So I had some insulation from my water heater and I wrapped it around my 5-gallon machine and I was able to get that wash done. And that next day I went to my homie that makes wetsuits. And I was like, yo, can you make me a dope little jacket for my machine? And he's like, yeah, no fucking problem. It's a square with a zipper on it. Boom. So that was when the jackets, you know, and the company basically was built around the jackets. And my son's name is Teddy Bear, Theodore Herschel Bear, and the bear, the polar bear. And that's thick polar bear skin kind of a vibe. So
that's pretty fucking cool.
I looked up polar skin in Italian, and it's Pelle Polare.
Fucking A.
Ah, there we go.
Fuck
yeah, man. What a way to close the show. Holy shit.
Right.
Go look him up, PellePolare.com, fucking Pelle Polare on Instagram. We're here every Friday night, and if we're not, we'll be there next week. Cheers, guys. We love you all.
Dope show.